Hi, my name is Kieran Murray. I'm a sophomore at the University of Wyoming, and this is my fall 2025 nursing BSN application for the Fayette School of Nursing. So, starting off, the first question is nurses face ethical dilemmas. Tell us about a time when you experienced a situation where a classmate or peer was engaging in unethical behavior, and how did you handle the situation? So, when I was a freshman last year, I was in a general psychology class with a bunch of kids that I had just met in the last year. And while we were in the class, it was one of our final tests, I think our third tests. Some of the kids were talking to me and they were like, hey man, we think that we can get a hold of the professor's tests from his office. Do you want a copy of it if we can get a hold of them? Would you want that? And I know how serious of a thing it is to commit academic misconduct in college. It can get you kicked out immediately, no questions asked. So I just said, no, guys, I can't be involved in that. I have a lot riding on this and I can't risk my future, my education just for a good grade on this test. I mean, it's not worth it to me. So in the end, I'm not sure whether or not they got the tests. After that, we kind of stopped talking after I told them that I didn't want to be associated with that and I didn't want the test. So, anyways, moving on to question two. Nurses often work well as part of a healthcare team. How do you work in a team environment? Tell us about a specific time you collaborated successfully with others. So I can go off a couple things. I have been a CNA for 2 years now. I work with a team of great CNAs and great nurses, and I even go over to the hospital because our care facility is connected over to the hospital in Buffalo where I live. So I work with a great team there of nurses and CNAs. I also have been an athlete my entire life. I've done team sports, I've done football, I've been on relays and swimming and track, which I did. I've worked with teams most of my life in team sports. Specifically, when I was a CNA, we had to commit aftercare on a person who died, sadly. And it took me and a couple other CNAs who had to work together to get this person's body ready for the family to see them after they passed. And we had to have the nurses come and help us with some things that were hard to get through. And it was a difficult experience, but it brought us closer together as a team with the two people that I was working with when we did the aftercare on the body. Moving on to question three. Share an experience when you received unexpected feedback from a supervisor or a coach. What was your reaction to that feedback? So, like I said before, I've been an athlete most of my life. I've been a pretty good, naturally talented athlete. I never really had to put much effort into being good at things, which is hard for me in some ways too. Specifically, I was a very good swimmer. I was all state all 4 years. I went to a national conference meet when I was a middle schooler. So I've been to the top of the competition. And once I got into high school, it kind of peaked. There were other kids who were equally as good in high school. Kids were better. There was a kid I competed against who was now he's an Olympian. He goes to the trials every year and almost makes it every year. And I thought my swimming technique was perfect. I thought my skill was perfect. I thought there wasn't anything that I needed to fix. And one day when we were in practice, my coach kind of pulled me aside and he said, "Hey, you've been doing this wrong all year. If you can fix this, it'll be the thing that might take you to the next level where you want to be. You can either listen to that feedback," he said, "or you can write it off. That's up to you. It's only going to affect you. It won't affect me." And it kind of hit me hard at first because at first I thought my technique was perfect. There was nothing I could fix. And in the end, I ended up listening to him, following what he told me, and it did. It helped shave seconds off each of my events that I was doing, that I specialized in when I was in swimming in high school. So, moving on to question four. Nursing requires a lot of empathy and strong communication skills. Tell us about a time when you demonstrated these qualities. So, going back to that story before of when me and two other CNAs had to perform aftercare on a passed away patient. After we did that, we had to talk to the family about what might have happened. We can't really come to any conclusions because we're not nurses, we're not doctors. We can't speculate to how they might have passed away. But we had to comfort the family and reassuring them that their loved one was going to a better place, that we did all we could for them while they were here and still alive, that we did our best to take care of them, and that we're going to miss them as well. We create good relationships with people as CNAs, and we get to know our patients well. We see them almost every day for hours a day, and that builds a pretty strong relationship. And usually you'll get to know the family because they're usually in there a lot. So it's hard, and you have to show empathy with them when they lose someone. So on to question 5. For the pick one of the following questions, I picked, tell me about a time when you were placed under pressure at work or school and how you responded to that pressure. So I want to go back to my athletic career when I was in high school. When I was a sophomore, I was running the finals of the 200-meter dash. It was pivotal for me. That was the first year I'd made top 8 finals, and I had a chance to get top 8, or not top 8, sorry. I meant I could get top 4 in that event. And I was really stressed. I wasn't sure I'd be able to do it. I had a lot of doubt in myself because I was racing most of the older kids, seniors and juniors, all who had more experience being in that pressure of being in the top 8 and being able to perform. And at first I thought I wouldn't be able to do it. I warmed up for about an hour, longer than I usually do, and it just made me think until the race finally came. And I ended up running with all I had, and I ended up getting second as a sophomore and getting all-state consideration for the first time in track. So yeah, thank you for my video, and thank you for this opportunity. Bye.